So on this vehicle, which is a 2019 Toyota Corolla, it has the engine 2ZR-FE, so 2019. So on this one, owner of the vehicle went to pump gas at Shells, and there was stuff like oxidation in the gas and the water, and the vehicle started to misfire. So these vehicles, they do have already a common problem with the fuel pump. They do have a TSB. They do have warranty, EPA warranty, 6 years or 60,000 miles. You take it into the dealership and they'll replace it for you. Or California, it's 7 years or 70,000 miles. This one unfortunately had 79,000 miles, so it was out of warranty. So basically, when we clean the tank, see, that's clean. It was literally like oxidation color. It was just bad, full of moisture. We cleaned it all out. We blew the fuel, blew the fuel line, make sure we get all that junk out. So we had to do that, and then we had to remove the fuel rail, blow the fuel rail. Let me get my flashlight. So we cleaned the grommets already, get it all ready. Got the fuel line. We removed it. So this, I already cleaned these injectors. We removed it, cleaned it real nice. So look, that's how they look now, right? That's how they look now, all nice and clean. They already have the dielectric grease. Make sure we blew the rail out, get all that old fuel out, and this is how the injector look. So you see. Alright, let me get a little bit better. There we go. Look, just full of carbon. So this is where you have to look into when you use bad fuel, because sometimes even well, that's what the strainer on the fuel pump is. So the strainer will catch most of the stuff on the fuel pump. I'll show you right now. But in here, in the injectors, let me see if I can show you. Okay, look. So here in the injector, in there, there's like little screens. Let me see if I can see. Well, in there, if you light it up, let me see if I can light it up straight. In there, there's little screens. This one has 2. So basically, what I do to clean this one, this is what I'm doing. I basically just put a little bit of WD-40 on the carbon buildup. WD-40 ain't gonna do nothing. And then scrub it. Scrub it. See? Just gentle, scrub it, gently, scrub it. Get the buildup. So this is just PCV because it's on the intake. So remember, PCV is just garbage because he gets attached to all the components in there, because it's just oil, fuel, carbon, and it creates that crust, and it just, gets attached to all your components in there. So once you clean it good, make sure that all the little crap like that, you have to hit it again. Just clean it. Okay, and then So the injectors didn't look that bad, okay? I'm using a mass airflow cleaner because this is a very sensitive cleaner, just to make sure that we're being careful with the injector as well. Okay, so this is where I'm telling the fun part is, right? So in there, all I'm doing is just to make sure we clean those screens. We hit it in there, okay, and then with shop air, when you blow it, be careful. Okay. You blow it careful with minimum pressure. You don't want to be using 100 plus psi to clean this. You better control it very easily. I would say like maybe 5-6 psi you might be using. So you do it once, and I'm doing it again just to make sure we get all that crap out and we clean the screens good. Okay. Okay. And now, if you look in there, like I am, now we can see the clean screens. Look at clean screen, clean, okay. So now we're sure that they're clean. Look, you can see a little bit. So they're clean. So that's the screen that I'm talking about. You see that white little thing? That's the screen. Okay. Alright, so now what I do, okay, I'll grab the dielectric, okay, get some little dielectric grease, okay, put it on, and then I just put it like that, just to lubricate it and protect it from moisture when you install it. Same thing with the O-ring, you know. And then once it's in there good like that, we just make sure that where it's gonna go, right? You blow on it just to get any excess dirt, and then we'll put it on here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we'll put it back. Everything's clean now. We have to get all the fuel. We'll wash the tank. That's some little bit of the fuel that was in the rail. See, look at that crap. Right? So the car started to run very, very lean. It started to add on the long term about 40%. And it just kept adding. So when we started diagnosing it, it did trigger a p0174, and we did an intrusive test, right, where you're able to, the sensors should be able to take a response to an intrusive test, because all they are is just sensors taking in input, and that's the way that they're able to detect, you know, and check for faults, because they're just checking for numbers and responding to conditions in the engine. So this was the old upstream oxygen sensor. So when we're doing the testing, what I will do is that I will add fuel into the system through the intake, right? So when when you have a scanner and you're doing live data, and you're making sure that the sensors are responding to intrusive commands, then all I did was so this is the line that goes right to your purge valve. So of course I disconnected it, but from here, when I had the car running, I disconnected it, and I was, I put my thumb in there, and little by little I was just allowing air to go through here, because that's an outside air going into the intake, right? Unregistered air, because it's not being registered. So if you add fuel, and you're introducing fuel from an outside source, right, then the engine's gonna start running rich. So now the oxygen sensor should be able to see that, because now there's more fuel in the combustion chamber, is gonna run rich. So when this catches it, this is gonna send the signal to the computer to take away fuel on the short-term fuel trim, and then it will start to adjust it. So that's one way that you check the system to make sure that the sensors are responsive. So now on this original sensor, when he ran that bat, look at all that crap that is in there. That's all like a buildup. So when I was diagnosing it, I will add fuel, which just like brake cleaner. You could add brake cleaner, carb starter. You add it. I was using brake cleaner, and it's an outside source fuel. And rather than adding to it, it was rather than taking away, right? Because you're adding fuel, it was adding fuel. So it didn't make any sense. And that's one way where you're like, okay, the sensor's not being responsive and it's not doing what it should be doing. If it sees additional fuel, then it should tell the computer to, hey, take away fuel. And I was measuring the lambda, and it's just responding very, very slow, and it wasn't functioning. So we replaced it, and now when I checked it again, then now the sensor was being responsive when I was adding fuel to it. So now when I added fuel, now it was taking, you could see the short-term fuel trim minus 20, minus 25, minus 10. So you can see the adjustment now being made by the computer based off on the oxygen sensor input, right? And you're also looking at the lambda. But I still seen that the long term was still at 40. So the system's already on closed loop. So that's telling you that it's using the sensors, and something else is causing it to run very, very lean, to the point where it has a long term at 40%. So we did the flow test, right? Rule of thumb is 1 pint for a regular engine, right? It should fill up a pint, which is 16 ounces, about that, right? You should fill that little bottle if you have the engine running and you have your gauge with the bypass, it should fill that pint in less than 30 seconds if this is running good with no restrictions. Even up to, sometimes I have seen pumps that fill it 18 seconds, 20 seconds, 15 seconds. But it should do it within 30 seconds. That's really enough time. So this one, it took like about a minute to fill the pint. And then the pressure was all fluctuating between 45 to 49, which is within spec, but it was fluctuating. So when I checked the flow, it failed. When first we checked the sensor, it failed, and then we proceeded with the flow to continue the diagnosis, and that's what determined that something was going on with the fuel pump. The flow was very slow, and then I noticed too the fuel. When I took the fuel, right, when I was testing it on the pint, the fuel was just dirty, just rusted color, and it's all because the pump fell. And I guess the guy said that a couple of days later he went back and they had closed the pump down, and I'm sure other people dealt with the same problem that he has to deal with. So we'll see how it should work good. It should be good. Now we cleaned the system, we got all the nasty fuel out, we changed the sensor, we got the new fuel pump in there, and so this is the strainer that I'm telling you guys, okay? So I told the guy it's up to him if he wants to reuse it and just clean it, but no guarantee because all that crap is in the strainer. So you see that stuff, that filter down there, right there, down in there, that's your strainer. Look how dirty look how dirty it looks. So you can't guarantee work once you know that there's, look at that there's issues like that with the pump. So, you know, I didn't make the call. I made him make the call. What do you want to do? I recommend you replace everything, the pump, clean the system, put new fluid, and you should be good. But if you decide to use the old pump, you have to understand that if it breaks within, starts giving you issues within 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 3 months, 6 months, right? Even the third day, then it's not my fault because things were not right how it was recommended. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and put everything back. We got the tank's all nice and clean in the front, and then it should be Toyota in a way.